Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Finn, or yet another gaming fail, and today I'm going to be back with you for another DCS kind of mission editory tutorial thing. I've done a buttload of these now, like a whole buttload of nice little tutorials, and actually I'm kind of running out of ideas for what to do. So, instead of just pumping out videos which will not be very useful to people, which are just like, how to change, I don't know, unit names or something. What we're going to do is I'm going to actually make a mission, um, and I'm going to put this video up whichever week you're seeing this, and then the following week we will do the actual mission itself and watch that. So obviously you can stay tuned for that. So we're kind of going to come up with something on the fly. I think that'd be pretty good. So let's kick it off, shall we? Obviously, main menu. Let's dip into the mission editor. First of all, should we create a new mission on Syria? I think that'd be pretty good. So, right, what are we thinking? Let's brainstorm some ideas here. So, we've got the Syria map now with Cyprus. Obviously, this is recorded about August of the year 2021, Anno Domini. We need to come up with something that will use, I think, Akrotiri, because myself and Frenchie, despite his name, are British, and we love our British aircraft, and we love our RAF bases, and RAF Akrotiri is right there. Why not use it, right? So, let's have a think. We've got this whole map to play with. I think we need to do something kind of Syria-y in terms of maybe some close air support or something like that with the Harrier, because why not? Me and Frenchie have some really cool RAF liveries, which me and him have built over a few years of fooling around. Um, so let me show you. Obviously, you kind of know the basics, or at least you have if you've been following my tutorials. Um, but basically, we've got Akrotiri right down in the bottom kind of peninsula of Cyprus. And let's come over to one of these parking areas here. Let's go to aircraft on the left. Just click there. That checks down an A10. And then we're going to go with, we'll leave it on AI for now. So we'll start at the top and we'll call it Harrier CAS Group, like that. We're going to do UK. And then we're going to go from A10C to Aviate-BNA. Now I know this is not the Harrier as in the, you know, the GR series, GR1, GR3, GR7, GR9, etc. It's also not the FSR or whichever. I always forget if it's FSR or FRS for the Sea Harriers. So it's not either of those. It's the American one, but that's all we got. So that's what we're working with. So what we'll do is I also need to find, yes, so it's over here. Scroll right down, and we have these really awesome custom RAF liveries for not an actual RAF squadron. It's kind of mine and Frenchie's little thing. We kind of milsim it. We don't exactly. We just kind of fly because we like it. You'll see in next week's video that we probably, whatever we do, probably sucks. But yeah, so we've got these, which is number 19 squadron. So number 19 squadron in real life, I believe, is a training squadron, and our nickname is the Flying Can Openers, which, if you're an RAF nerd, you'll know. I think it's number 7 squadron is the Flying Can Openers, and they used to fly the Tornado, and they may be being reformed with the Lightning 2, the F-35, but I don't know. But this is just something we made because we like it, so don't complain. But yeah, also we have the shark mouth on the front. So I think that's Frenchie's one, and then my one is the kind of more bare bones one here. So yep, I'm gonna get a pin up on mine. I just need to draw the pin up. But yeah, so there's our aircraft. Let's not put a loadout on it yet. We'll just stick with it as is. We will chuck it in a parking spot over here. Let's say, so take off from ramp, and then G11 because that's the nearest one, and then we'll think about the loadout in a second. We're going to have 2 Harriers, and then we'll put the other one in the opposite parking bay, which is G3 there, and we'll leave that there for a second. Cool. So, next, what are we going to do in terms of actual targets and things like that? I think what we need is like I don't know, like a set of targets out in Syria, just kind of, I don't know, fooling around. Like maybe some mortars, or like let's just think of something nice and easy to kick off with. Because the thing that you don't want to do with DCS missions, which is very deceptive, is you want to make these massive set pieces where you've got a million targets and like loads of stuff to do. But actually, when you think about real missions, you are one aircraft, you will take one payload, and you will destroy one target, or two targets, or three targets. You won't be destroying an entire factory, complex with one aircraft or two. You'll be taking loads, and generally, probably, they're not going to risk, if it's a big target, they're not going to risk loads of aircraft to go and destroy it. They're probably going to go, we'll chuck a couple Tomahawk cruise missiles at it, maybe stick a Predator, or take some satellite photos overhead for BDA, and then leave it at that. They're not going to come in and go, yeah, let's just fly the whole Air Force at them. It's just not advantageous. So, let's think, where are we going to put this target? I like the mountains, but I feel like that will create too much complication in terms of finding stuff amongst the trees. I don't want to bomb a house, because houses are problematic, because you kind of can't tell them apart. There's a lot of assessment to be done there. So what I want, I think, is like some technicals or something. I mean, I like the idea, maybe, what's this military base like? Let's have a look. So, what I like to do, put down the first thing, which is always going to be an Amtrak, and you just leave that there. We'll do save as, and then I'm going to do, let's do campaigns in here, and then let me just tab out quickly, pop into my folder layout for my missions, because I keep it on in a separate file path to all my other stuff. So let's have a look, games, here we are, and then let's just go in here, campaigns, make a new one, which is Syria, and then tutorials. And then this way we've got a separate folder for my stuff. So all I have to do here is back out and then go back in here, and then we have tutorials, and then we'll go in there. And then let's call this 1 dash military base. We can change that later, just going to call it that. It's a temporary name. So you need to save before you load in, which is why I've done that. So I'm now going to just go to, I can either do fly mission, or I can just click this little green arrow on the left here. If it's a little bit small, just kind of follow along. Maybe you got it up on a phone or bigger screen. Because I have a 4K display, it makes it a bit more of a pain, because obviously I either have to scale down my UI, which I kind of like it this way, or I have to kind of explain everything as I go, which, to be fair, it's a tutorial, so let's do that. So we're about, give or take, 9 or 10 minutes into the creative process. So we've already kind of decided we're going to blow up some basic targets, maybe put some bombs on some small infantry groups or something like that. Let's have a look at this base, because I like the idea of this base. Hit fly. So now we're looking at the AI. You can see my lovely little skin going on here. So, a bit laggy, but we're fine with that. So let's go over to the Amtrak. So this military base looks pretty good. I like the idea that maybe we have some I don't want to say ISIS, because I don't want to make this too real world, but we have some partisan revolutionary forces, maybe not revolutionary, let's say terrorist, partisan terrorist forces that have taken over this military base, and and we need to go and liberate it. So I think what we'll do, that works really nice, And the other reason why it looks really nice is because we've got this kind of ridge line all up like round here. Let's see, how do I do it? Ruler here like that. All up kind of round here, you know, along this bit. I think that works great. So, what we're going to do is let's start by kind of making it more enemy-ish. You know, let's populate it. You know, we've got to have some targets to hit, right? So, I'm going to switch to the insurgents group, and then I think, yeah, I have some nice. So this is from I believe this is either the French pack or the Dims pack, maybe. These are some mods. Uh, if you're not into modding DCS, I'm sorry, but you're missing out on a lot. Like, I'm never a massive fan of modding games, but like adding just these extra ground units, like I don't care about the extra air units. I don't care about the you know the F-35 and the F-22 and stuff like that. The unrealistic, not based on real flight model aircraft. I care about more things for me to blow up with my bombs. So let's take some. Yeah, let's get some insurgent kind of vehicles like this. Let's just make a nice row of them. So the one with the little number 1 next to it is the first unit in the group, and that's what's going to base the start of the movement, as we kind of covered in previous tutorials. So I've added a couple on with the plus and minus buttons up on the top right, which gives us 6 vehicles, and obviously you can flip through them by just going units 1 through 6 on here, and it'll change to whichever one you got selected, but you can kind of click on the icons like that. And let's kind of make let's make a couple here like this, and a couple here like this, and a couple here like this. Cool. Right, now what we're going to do, let's get some mortars. I think that's our target for today, is mortars. So we're going to go artillery, and then let's go insurgents again, and just see if the insurgents have any artillery. What have we got? Oh, we've got some grads. Now, that would be good. Or we've got... Oh, what's this? Oh, oh, come on DCS, you can do it. I believe in you. This is probably a very high poly model. Might even crash. Oh, here we are. Okay, that's a bit too tanky, and the other one will be too tanky as well. Let's go with grad, because it paints us a nice big target like this. Spin it round, and let's kind of face it. Where are we going to face it towards? Let's face it towards Aleppo. I think towards Aleppo would be good like that. So then we kind of got the excuse of like, oh well, you know, we are protecting people in Aleppo from, you know, rocket artillery. Cool. So now let's add an extra one on the back of this group. Let's just select unit 4. And then we'll get an extra 1 or 2 in here. And we're going to turn these into logistics vehicles. So we'll go from artillery on the category, we'll go to unarmed, and then I'm going to go find the Kamaz, which should be down here somewhere. Kamaz, there we are. And let's kind of position these around. In fact, let's bring it back to 4. Where's number 4? 3, like that. And then number 4, and then like this. Ah, yeah, cool. So, yep, unarmed, Kamaz, wherever it is. Cool. Let's drag this in here. And then like that, and like that. Cool. And then, you know what? Let's add a little more flavour to this. Let's make it a little more different, I think. Let's do it like this. You know, they want to cover against enemy air vehicles. You know, they want to protect against any satellite photography that might expose their little terrorist scheme. So what we'll do is let's go to static objects, which is the kind of bridge looking button on the right, the left even. Let's switch that. Doesn't matter to who. Let's go to Russia. Let's scroll down to I think, is it under ground vehicles? Yeah, ground vehicles. And then we've got field hides here. Like that. Cool. So this is like a bit overkill on the size, but we'll add some bits in to make it a bit more worthwhile. We'll rename it to be artillery cover, like that. Cool. And then we'll just copy with Control C, paste with Control V, paste with Control V. So now we have 3 artillery covers like this. Let's save this just with Control S and hit fly. Right. Let's see. What have we got going on now? Okay. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Hit F7. Alright, so we've got these grads set up. Like they've kind of got this hill to protect them. We could even set them up to fire. So maybe we should do that. But what I think we'll do as well is, while we're at it, let's chuck some infantry in. Just for the sake of getting infantry in there. So we'll take that. What we're gonna do as well, we'll go back through and rename all these vehicles in a second, but we're gonna rename this group infantry, like that. Let's call it artillery infantry. Artillery infantry. Let's go insurgents, and then under infantry we'll scroll down to insurgent AK-74. Now we have this lovely gentleman right here, who I'm sure is not up to anything nefarious. Obviously these guys work for a nondescript organisation. They don't have any political affiliations at all. They have no interest in religion or anything like that. You know, these are just they just like causing havoc. You know, absolutely no military affiliations. So we're going to spin them around like this, and let's get a couple of them in kind of each bit here, and we'll turn them kind of facing around. Obviously, this is just the kind of aesthetic bit now. You guys can do it however you like, if you even want to do this. I like doing it this way. Like, we've added a few extra targets in. You know, we'll have some stuff for us to bomb, and then, you know, we can bugger off when we're done. But of course, this is just a kind of, you know, this is just, at the moment, very much purely aesthetic, and there's not really much to shoot at us. The only stuff we have to shoot at us is the kind of infantry on the ground here. That's kind of why I'm adding them in, is to add some cool ground fire effect, and I think that'd be very cool. Like that, and like that. Let's get these guys in here, like this as well. Cool. Let's dot these around a bit more. And then what I think we should do, we've got 4 last guys left. Let's get them to some points over here. Spread them out a little bit. To here. To here. And to here. Like that. And lastly over here. Cool. So, that's kind of spread them around a little bit. So we've got now the covers. We've got the artillery vehicles, we've got the infantry, we've got some technicals, and we've also got some, some resupply vehicles. So we're going to just rename the artillery one to artillery emplacement. I know it's not an emplacement, but we have these vehicles, so that will act as it. And then we've got technicals. The technicals obviously will also shoot at us, so that will create some more complex stuff. But let's also add a little bit more in, just to throw some spanners in the works. And then let's call this one man pads. If you know what that means, I hope you know what that means if you're a bit of a DCS fanatic. But man pads is man portable air defense system. So the man obviously stands for man. So what we'll do, let's go under category, let's change that into air defense. Let's go down until we find igloos. Now, the unfortunate thing is that these guys they are very military-ish, which is a shame. But you know, we do what we can within the bounds of the DCS universe. You know, so what we're going to do is we'll face them kind of outwards, and we'll add an extra man's in here as well, like this, like this, and then we're going to change the rearmost one to be, which is it? So we've got the igloo grouse and the grouse C2. So the C2 is the kind of command unit man who reloads the other dude. And so we've got man pads there, and I'm just going to copy it and paste it again because it'll make it a hell of a lot easier for me to do. And then let's make sure that they clear the back blast like that. And then this we'll call mad pads 2. This one we'll call mad pads 1-1. Cool. And then let's paste another one in. Where is it? Here. Let's paste it over in this corner. This one can be man pads 3. Perfect. It's already named that way. And we'll face him out this way. And we'll get this guy over by his infantry friend over here. Like that. And then finally man pads 4. And he can go like this and face out this way. And his buddy can go over here. Cool. So what we've got is kind of what I would imagine you would expect from a military kind of, well, not military, but a terrorist encampment type situation. So what we'll do is we will now want to make sure that we don't give our guys any kind of clues as to where this is. You know, what we will do though is we will start by going to briefing over here, and I'm just going to call this sortie 1 dash base like that, and we can go on the briefing images panel, and you know, let's just go find an image, shall we? Let's just I'll just pick one of my memes. Mass storage, photographs. Memes. Let's go for Chuck Norris and just pick a random one. I have no idea which one that is. We'll find that out later. So situation now. Let's just type up a brief idea of the situation. So we'll say militant fighters have taken over a small military base in eastern Syria, southeast of the city of Aleppo. It is. Well, let's not go with it is. Let's just put a double space in there and just say the base has been manned by terrorist forces using rocket artillery to harass and kill innocent civilians in the city, increasing volumes of artillery attacks are causing media to question the West's role in protecting civilian populations from the horror of terrorist war crimes. It is your job to fly out to the enemy base and destroy their artillery trucks. Bam! I think that's a pretty good kind of summary. You know, I'm not setting this in a campaign. There's no time frame for this. This is just kind of happening. And then what we'll do is we'll put mission. Let's put 2 squiggly lines, and then mission information, and then squiggle again, and then we're going to say enemy base coordinates colon, and then what we'll do, I'm going to take my mouse and I'm going to hover it kind of in the middle of this base, and I'm going to look down at the bottom of my screen, and you can see there is latitude and longitude right there. So what we'll do is we'll do lat, and then we'll do a double colon, and then we'll do north 35 dash apostrophe. I'm just going to separate them with apostrophes because I don't know how to do the degree symbol. 27. So north 35, 47, 27, like that, and then long east 37, 43, 33, like that. So now we've got the enemy base coordinates in there. So I'm not going to add them as coordinates for our vehicles. I'm not going to add them as a waypoint. It's up to us to input our objectives. And then blue task we're going to put as destroy enemy artillery in the Durahim military base perimeter. Cool. Alright, so that is all done there. We're going to hit save, and then our kind of mission editor thing. There used to be a street named after Chuck Norris, but it was changed because no one crosses Chuck Norris and lives. Okay, perfect. I'll change that to an actual mission photo before me and Frenchie do it. But basically, that is our starting information. We've got the base, we've got the time and date, we've got the information, which we've typed up there. We've got the latitude and longitude, we've got some weather information, and then if we hit start, it will obviously take us over to the AI which we have. So just hit fly there and spin it around. If I quickly press escape and go back to briefing, one thing that you don't have here is the enemy units, which is good. We don't want to release to our players what the enemy units are, but let's have a look. Sometimes, and I believe it will probably be the case, that if you play as the client here and the client here, so we'll set these both now. Our friendly aircraft are now controlled by players. We're going to hit fly and fly mission again. We're going to save that. Don't mind me while I take a quick sip. Cool. Now we get the role selection screen, and I'm going to click on that and click OK. And then it'll take a moment, and then it'll spawn me in the Harrier. It's a lot more speedy when I'm in VR. But now, you'll see, look, as we scroll down, now that we've aligned to a coalition, it gives us the list of enemy combatants. We do not want this. You know, all we want to know is that there are some grads out in the desert. We already know that because the information we're given here. We already know the location of it. And the problem is, when you hit F10 here to go onto the map and you scroll all the way out, it will show us where the base is here. I don't want to do that. I want to have us import our waypoints manually by typing them in and then actually, you know, doing what you would do if you're a real pilot. So, what we'll do is we'll hit escape, we'll hit quit, mission editor, you know, and this is kind of, this mission is set up to be not like a fast reaction, you know, we're not QRF for something, you know, we're on Akrotiri for God's sake, you know, it's going to be a long ferry flight over, what is it, about 240 nautical miles, right? So, what we'll do now is we're going to go on these guys. We know we're done here. in terms of, like, we know that we've put everything down here we need. We don't need to add any more threats. We don't need to blow anything else up. It's up to me and Frenchie now to determine what our situation is. In fact, what I think I will do, just quickly, is I will add an extra line on here saying there are reports that the militants have purchased Igla SA-18 manpads from the black market. So base your strategy around these defenses. In fact, what I'll say is the possibility of these defenses. Cool. Nice and sophisticated. Cool, so we're getting there now. So, what we want to do, we want to hide this from the map, and we also want to make sure that we can't get any information to the player while they're flying around. You only want to give them the information from where they start, their, their task, what they might be facing, and their, impact. I mean, it may be that you might have a predator drone flying overhead or something like that, which will be feeding you information. In which case, you might want in the briefing to say, yes, I want my player to know where these are on the map, and I also want my player to know exactly what threat is facing them. That's fine. That's optional. In my case, I want it to be a no planning. We're going straight in. We're going to bomb some targets, and we're going to Foxtrot Oscar back to base. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hide them from enemy, well, from us, from Blue 4. So we're going to do hidden on map on the right hand side under vehicle group, hidden on planner, and then I think that'll be it. We can just do that because we're not going to late activate it or anything. They're going to be there from the start, and we're just going to go through all of these: hidden from map, hidden from planner, hidden from map, hidden on planner, hidden on map, hidden on planner. We're just going to do this all the way across for all of these, including the hides as well, like that. Cool. Now just got these guys and these guys. Great. Now you'd almost never know that there was anyone here. Cool. So now they're all hidden. We're going to hit Control S to save. We're going to fly. We're going to hit start, and then we're going to do all of the bollocks which leads up to you getting to see the briefing screen as a member of a coalition. So we'll do this, we'll do that, and then here we are. Threat NA. NA. We don't know what the threat is. Awesome. That's great. That's cool. No worries. Quit. Now, we've got a few more things to do. First of all, that is a very long flight. It will be fine, I'm sure, but while we've got the opportunity, shall we whack in some tankers, maybe? Now, obviously we did a tutorial on tankers, so you can follow that if you like. I'm just going to kind of run through and chuck them in. So we're going to do tanker group alpha, like that, and we'll have a KC-135, what's it? I know what I'm doing. Where is it? Refueling? No. Reconnaissance? No, not reconnaissance. Refueling. Here we are, refueling. KC-135 MPRS, like this. This lovely, lovely chap here. Cool. So we'll do that. I'm gonna have him fly from like over here, and then we're gonna add a waypoint over the sea before Basel al-Assad. And then we're gonna do this, do this, do this, and then add task. We're gonna go to set perform command even, and then we're gonna go switch waypoint to 0. Cool. So we've done that. So the tanker will now fly in a nice big circle, which will take him 25 minutes to do a full loop of. We're just going to stretch these coordinates out so it will take him about, so let's see, we want to bring the knots up a little bit. So I'd say on each of these waypoints you want him to be doing 500 knots, because otherwise when you go into tank they like to slow down. So you want to you want to increase the airspeed on the waypoints so that he reduces the airspeed on the tanking. So let's check that out. So 500 on all of these. Now we want a realistic altitude. So let's do 22,000 feet, which would be probably a bit low for a tanker, but you know, it's we'll it's just for ease of flying around like that. So like this, and I think that just about does it. So it'll take him about half an hour to do a full loop round to the third waypoint, and then what probably so it'll take him between here and here. It'll take him 4 minutes. So it'll take him about about 35 minutes to do a full loop. That's fine. So we know that he'll do that, and we know that he's got a tanker reference. Right, so that's that done. Obviously, that is just the tanker. That you could follow the tutorial I've done. It'll give you a little bit more information. We need to add in now TACAN. I like to do, so set option, where is it? Not that. Perform task maybe? I can never remember which one it is. Perform command. Activate TACAN. Here we are. We're going to change it to Yankee, and I always do 7 Yankee. And then we'll do TKA, and we'll do TACAN on. And then we're going to set it to group aerial 1-2. And then we're just going to quickly go in here and change aerial 1-2 to tanker alpha. We're going to make sure the frequency is 230. I'm going to choose 230 for the moment. I'm going to set it to shell 3-1 because leaving it as an unregistered thing, it's like Enfield 1-1. How many Enfield 1-1s can you have on one DCS mission? Let's not have a bunch of Enfield 1-1s. Let's have a variety of different ones. It's a pain in the mission editor to coordinate, but you know, we'll just switch it up a little, do something different. And then we're just going to go through each of these waypoints, so make sure they're all set to 22,000 feet, 22,000 feet, 22,000 feet. That's fine. Back to the start, and then we're going to just do point A, and then we're going to switch to the next one. And this is just under the name on the waypoints. Set it to point B, point C. So I was talking with a friend of mine who is an ex-US Air Force F-15 Eagle pilot, who maybe I might bring on for some DCS stuff when he's free. He is now retired from the Air Force with kids, and he is planning on being an airline pilot, so his time is fairly indispensable. So I may be able to bring him on for some bits occasionally, but we'll have to see. But he was telling me how basically normally tankers just fly point to point, never in a loop, and they don't really orbit. They fly point to point, and you just rendezvous with whichever one suits you. So, yeah, we'll do that, and then what we'll do, we'll make sure under our thing in here, we're going to go in and under the mission information, we're going to add an extra one which says refueling aircraft, like that, and we're going to do radio frequency RF, and then we're going to do 230.000 megahertz, and then we're going to do TCN for TACAN, and then we're going to do 7 Yankee. Cool. And then so now we've got 2 aircraft, we've got a target, we've got everything set up on the briefing screen, we've got a aircraft to do some tanking for us, and now we kind of know, we've got the what, the who, the where, and now we just need to do the when and the other W, which is the weather, which is kind of very apt for DCS, I think. So the when and the weather, I always like to do an early morning start because it gives you the most cinematic look. And let's go with scattered, I think, like a scattered bit of cloud like that. Save it. And then let's click fly. So I've set 6 AM and scattered. Let's have a look and see how it looks. Okay. We'll just hit back and spectators. I think that looks pretty glorious, don't you? And then let's just hit F7 over to here. Obviously, so I think that's pretty good actually. I think that's a pretty good set of settings. A few hours in, because it'll probably take an hour to get to, fly over and then, bomb the targets, and then an hour to fly back or something like that. Maybe a bit less. But a couple hours in, the sunlight's not going to be as good. So let's maybe bring it a bit earlier, because we're only going to fly over in that time anyway. So let's do 5, and then hit save and fly. Start. Nice hefty sip. Now it is night pretty much, but let's just zip it forwards, and you can see the sun is gently climbing. Let's see what it's like over here. Okay, it's better over here, but over the sea it's pretty slow. How long will it take the sun to like properly rise? We're 5 minutes in. The sun's starting to come up really nicely now. Yep, this will be great. Yeah, I mean, who's gonna care after that long amount of time? There we go. So I think we can probably ferry over on ferry tanks and be fine, and then we can make our way back. So I think that's the weather done. That's all good. I'm not going to worry about winds, crosswinds, etc. If I feel it needs that, it'll do it, but we've already kind of got the challenge of the target, so I'll just hit save. Now, there's one last thing I want to do, which is we need to make sure that once the target is complete, we kind of get some kind of thing just to say it's done. So let's stick a trigger in here and say mission complete, like that. And that's just the name of it. Under the conditions then, we're going to do group dead, and then we're going to do artillery emplacement. That's why we named all of these, so we know what we're shooting at. And then the next thing is we're going to do message to message to coalition. Blue, we're going to say mission complete. The rocket artillery and their supplies have been destroyed. Like that. Click clear view. We won't delay the start, and we will just now hit save. And that there is a mission done. Like, that is as done as you need it. You know, me and Frenchie will then go and play this at some point in the coming week or two, and then I'll upload the footage of it, and you guys can see how it's turned out. So, I apologise it's been a long one. It's been 45 minutes of me yapping on about this mission and how it all works and how it's set up. You might be watching this after the actual mission videos has been released. You might have watched it and you're coming back from the actual video and watching how it was made. It's kind of like a I guess like those little micro documentaries to how it's made series or whatever it was. It's a bit like that, but for DCS missions. So I hope this was good. I'm probably going to do a couple more of these, and then I'll fly plenty of stuff with Frenchie. And then yeah, you guys just like leave me a comment or let me know if you thought this was good. This is a bit less of the tutorial part and a bit more of the creative process. A bit more of the how we made these missions as opposed to how you would make a mission. So yeah, all right. So, with a minute left before 45 minutes, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, leaving a like would be quite nice. I'm not going to say do it. Subscribing would also be nice. But also, if you could leave me a comment of any suggestions that you might have for future missions or future ideas or future things you want to see, that would be awfully grand. So, with that, I bid you adieu. Thank you very much for your time. and have a lovely day. Alright, bye bye.